Welcome back. You're watching WION World is One. I'm Samiksha Srivastava. Let's begin with speed news. Rescue teams are racing against time after devastating floods and landslides hit the Nepal-Tibet border. Nepal's disaster agency says 823 people remained out of contact, including at least 579 tourists, among them more than 130 Indians. Meanwhile, at least 165 people have been confirmed dead in Nepal and China. A further 558 have been reported missing in China. India has sent an initial consignment of relief materials to support Kathmandu's emergency response. Qatar's Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani is due to visit Tehran today for talks on de-escalating tensions and reviving dialogue between Iran and the US. Qatar says the visit will focus on creating conditions for diplomacy and continuing its mediation efforts. Doha has previously acted as a back-channel mediator between Washington and Tehran and helped secure a June agreement that briefly paused hostilities. The visit comes as tensions remain high over the Strait of Hormuz, with no diplomatic breakthrough yet in sight. Iran's Revolutionary Guards say Iran and Oman have reached agreements on their respective shares of the Strait of Hormuz waters and related revenues. IRGC spokesperson said the strategic waterway remains under Iranian control and vessels require Iran's permission to pass. He also blamed US obstructions for delays, saying the strait could be reopened if Washington returns to a June peace memorandum. Iran says the UN nuclear inspectors will not be allowed to inspect sites damaged in recent military strikes until new inspection procedures are established. Iranian nuclear chief says the country remains in wartime situation and that security conditions at the damaged facilities are not yet suitable for inspections. Tehran has also questioned the independence of the IAEA, accusing the United States and Israel of pressuring the agency to inspect the attacked sites. US says troops from partner countries are scheduled to arrive in Gaza as part of an international force to help keep the peace. US Ambassador to the UN Mike Waltz said countries including Uganda, Morocco and Kazakhstan have offered thousands of troops, though deployment is moving slower than Washington had hoped. Board of Peace Gaza envoy Nikolay Mladenov has said that Hamas and other Palestinian factions have accepted a roadmap to hand over their weapons and transfer governing authority to a UN-recognized transitional administration. The UN meeting also saw fresh Palestinian criticism over Israeli settlement plans in the occupied West Bank. US Secretary of War Pete Hegseth honored Marines who served at the Abbey Gate during the deadly 2021 Kabul airport bombing. The August 26, 2021 suicide attack killed 13 US service members and around 170 Afghan civilians during the US evacuation from Afghanistan. Pete Hegseth presented them with Bronze Star medals at a Pentagon ceremony, which marked the 5th anniversary of the attack. 5 years after the Taliban returned to power, their promises of more moderate rule have largely failed to materialize. The Taliban has imposed sweeping restrictions on women and children, including barring millions from secondary education and university studies. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the alleged 9/11 attack mastermind, to stand trial before US military court in June 2028, which is more than 25 years after the attacks. A military judge set the date after ruling that a 2027 trial that was proposed by prosecutors was too soon. Mohammed had reached a plea deal to avoid a death penalty trial, but a federal appeals court later overturned the agreement. Arrested in 2003, he has been held at Guantanamo Bay since 2006. The US State Department has temporarily paused immigrant visa appointments worldwide for new training of consular staff. The training will focus on screening applicants who may become dependent on US public benefits. The pause does not affect tourists, student, business, or temporary work visas. The move follows a court ruling that blocked the Trump administration's earlier suspension of visa processing for applicants from 75 countries. General Francis L. Donovan, head of U.S. Southern Command, has arrived in Colombia for talks on joint operations against drug traffickers. The visit comes as new President Abelardo de la Espriella vows to crack down on cocaine smuggling guerrilla groups with support from Washington. Colombia is the world's biggest cocaine producer, which makes the country a key focus of the U.S. war on drugs. Washington is now moving to deepen its security partnership with Bogota, including joint military operations, as well as a planned $1 billion security package. U.S. reports suggest CIA Director John Ratcliffe traveled to Moscow this week to warn Russia against attacking NATO member states. The visit comes as U.S. intel assessments suggest Moscow could seek to test the alliance with a limited military assault. Ratcliffe also raised Iran issue, warning of additional U.S. sanctions if the Strait of Hormuz does not reopen to shipping. The visit was reported after a U.S. Air Force jet was spotted in Moscow, with Ukraine also informed about the U.S. delegation's trip. Russia has launched a fresh wave of attacks in Ukraine, with explosions reported in Kiev and several other cities. Several blasts were heard in the capital early Thursday as air raid alerts were active across most of the country. Explosions were also reported in Odessa and Zaporizhia, where authorities say at least 3 people were injured. A missile strike on Kryvyi Rih also left 2 people injured, according to local authorities. UK's new Armed Forces Minister Louise Sinther-Jones visited UK troops in Estonia as London reinforces its commitment to NATO's eastern flank. During a visit to Camp Tapa, Sinther-Jones observed military drills that involved drones, armoured vehicles and other equipment used by UK forces. She said that the UK Army must learn from the changing nature of warfare in Ukraine, including the growing use of drones, AI and uncrewed systems. She also stressed that UK's military presence in Estonia sends a strong message of support to its NATO ally and a deterrent signal to Russia. UK forces to Estonia are deployed under Operation Cabret, which is the UK's contribution to NATO's forward presence in the region. London's Metropolitan Police this week launched an expanded fleet of e-bikes to tackle criminals committing street crimes such as phone thefts in the British capital. The Metropolitan Police has deployed 20 new bikes capable of reaching up to 50 miles per hour and following suspects off-road and upstairs, aiming to tackle so-called snatch offences. Phone thefts have fallen from around 68,000 to 54,000 in the 12 months to May, but fewer than 1% of cases resulted in a positive outcome, such as a charge or caution. Bolivian President Rodrigo Paz has distanced himself from Argentine political strategist Fernando Cermedo, who is facing allegations over alleged money laundering and links to drug trafficking. He had worked on Paz's presidential campaign and early government efforts, was also arrested following an alleged attack on his former partner. Paz says Cermedo had never had authority to represent the presidency, government or his family. China has reportedly test-fired a stealth-enhanced anti-ship cruise missile featuring a black radar-absorbing coating. Military experts say the new YJ-18A variant could improve radar evasion and penetration, potentially making it harder to detect over deep waters. Taiwan's Coast Guard says China deployed a record 244 Coast Guards research and government vessels around Taiwan in July, an average of nearly 8 a day. Taiwan says 152 Chinese vessels were detected in the first 21 days of August. The island's Coast Guard has warned that the situation is becoming increasingly severe, while analysts say that Chinese research vessels may be collecting data for anti-submarine warfare. Taipei also warned the increased activity could potentially increase blockade or quarantine operations. Japanese avant-garde artist Yayoi Kusama, known worldwide for her iconic polka dots and immersive installations, has died aged 97. Her company says she died in Tokyo on 14th of August after a lifetime dedicated to art. One of Japan's most celebrated contemporary artists, she gained international prominence for her distinctive style and works exhibited around the world. Kusama received Japan's Order of Culture in 2016, which is one of the world's highest honors for artists. Thousands of revelers dove into a sea of tomato pulp as Spain's famous La Tomatina festival kicked off in Buñol. Organizers expect 22,000 participants from across the globe this year and say that 1,000 kilograms of tomatoes would be used. During the annual event in Buñol, attendees throw tomatoes at each other for 1 hour. The annual tradition dates back to 1945 and has become a major international attraction. Nvidia beat Wall Street's revenue expectations and forecast $108 billion in third quarter revenue, above the analyst estimate. However, its outlook excluded any China data center chip sales, and investors remain concerned about Nvidia's long-term dominance. Big tech is expected to spend more than $730 billion on AI infrastructure this year, but companies are increasingly developing their own chips. Competition is also intensifying in AI inference, from amid AMD, Intel and Chinese firms. Nvidia is responding through its $17 billion Grok deal and upcoming Vera Rubin platform, while still projecting an AI chip opportunity exceeding $1 trillion through 2027. Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook denied wrongdoing as President Donald Trump renewed his push to remove her from the central bank. The confrontation intensifies political pressure on the Fed and raises concerns over its independence. Cook has rejected allegations against her, while Trump has continued the questioning her position. Any attempt to remove a Fed governor could trigger a major legal and institutional battle, with investors watching closely for its impact on monetary policy, if at all, and confidence in the central bank. US inflation remained stubbornly high in July, with the PCE price index rising 3.7% year over year, or above the Federal Reserve's 2% target. Core PCE reached at 3.2% 3%, increasing pressure on policymakers and lifting expectations of a possible September rate hike. Meanwhile, second quarter GDP growth was unrevised at 1.5%, but stronger consumer spending, business investment, and corporate profits point to faster growth ahead. The data leaves the Fed balancing persistent inflation against a resilient economy. South Korea's central bank raised its policy rate by 25 basis points to 3%, making a second consecutive hike as inflationary pressures persist. Core inflation reached 2.6% in July, its highest level since December 2023, while headline inflation stood at 2.8%. Rising housing prices in Seoul and surrounding areas are adding to concerns. The Bank of Korea expects strong exports and domestic demand supported by the semiconductor sector, but warns inflation could remain above its 2% target for an extended period. Meta agreed to pay US states up to $16.7 billion and impose sweeping new protections for teenagers on Facebook and Instagram, ending a landmark California trial. The settlement resolves claims from 29 states that Meta designed its platforms to hook young users, misled the public about risks, and illegally collected children's data. Teen accounts will face a midnight to 6 a.m. lockout and a default 2-hour daily usage limit. The deal applies only in participating states and does not admit wrongdoings. Meta also faces thousands of separate lawsuits. Apple is set to host its next launch event on September 9th, where the company is expected to unveil its newest iPhone series and potentially its long-awaited foldable phone. The first foldable iPhone is expected to be a crucial landmark for Apple, with analysts saying that the high-end devices would be the main driver of higher selling prices and margin growth for the company. The launch would also mark incoming Apple CEO John Tierney's first major event. Apple's longtime hardware chief is set to take the helm at the company on 1st of September. Tim Cook as he transitions Tim Cook's role to this is as a role of the executive chairman of Apple. US Cybersecurity Agency CISA has said that hackers have targeted more than 100 internet exposed systems across the US and wastewater sector. The attacks have largely targeted program RB logic controllers or the PLCs used to control machinery in critical infrastructure. The intrusions have caused some outages and disruptions, while CISA warns that some attacks could create unsafe conditions by tampering with shutdown processes and even alarms. Around 700 AI agents created by OpenAI were involved in the July hack of open-source platform Hugging Face. Two reports suggest the agents worked together in a massive swarm, with some attempting to hide evidence of their actions. OpenAI also says that its agents hacked parts of its own systems during testing and cheated on non-cyber tests. German companies are increasingly being targeted by cyber attacks that they suspect are linked to foreign intel services. According to a study by Digital Industry Association, more than 1 in 3 companies hit by cyber attacks, or 37%, said that they had attributed at least one incident in the past 12 months to a foreign intel service. That was up from 28% a year earlier and more than 5 times the 7% recorded in 2023. China and Russia were the main suspected sources, with 52% of affected companies linking at least one attack to China and 49% to Russia, while 9% pointed to Iran. Bill Gates is looking to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping later this year, eager to propose global efforts to mitigate the growing risks posed by artificial intelligence. The Microsoft co-founder and billionaire philanthropist said that he believes China might agree to restricting potentially dangerous AI model releases if the US took initiative on that front. Gates also said that he would like to propose that countries monitor AI's ability to create molecules and carry out biological attacks, something that would not get in the way of any tech industry's development. Boston Scientific has confirmed the cybersecurity incident that disrupted its global operations. The medical device maker says that some information systems used to process and ship customer orders have been affected. The company detected the incident on August 15th and has activated its incident response procedures. Boston Scientific is working with third-party cybersecurity specialists to investigate and contain the threat. The company says that the full scope of the incident is still being assessed, while recovery efforts are said to be underway. European football governing body UEFA is set to drop its threat to boycott FIFA competitions as per reports. UEFA has given assurance that FIFA will not revive its controversial plan to sell strikes in the World Cup and other tournaments. The decision is expected to be announced at executive meet in Monaco later today. It could somewhat ease tensions between the two sides. However, the dispute with FIFA President Gianni Infantino remains and is far from over. Rupert Grint, the original Ron Weasley from the Harry Potter movies, will slip into his old role on Broadway next year in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Grint, who starred in all 8 Harry Potter movies from 2001 to 2011, will join the play at the Lyric Theatre from February 2nd till 30th of May 2027. It will also mark the second time a member of the Harry Potter film cast has joined the stage production. Earlier, Tom Felton reprised his role of Draco Malfoy. The play picks up 19 years after the end of the final novel, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Months ahead of the release of Avengers Doomsday, makers of the MCU released for the trailer of the re-release of Avengers Endgame. The film, which has been retitled Avengers Endgame Encore, is a direct prequel according to Avengers Doomsday, which is to be released on 18th of December. Avengers Endgame was originally released in 2019. Makers have said that the audiences for Avengers Endgame Encore will get a special look at the upcoming Avengers Doomsday. Avengers Endgame Encore is set to return to theatres on 25th of September.